My name is Shamega Johnson. I'm 48 years old and I live in the Bronx. I've lived in the Bronx my entire life. Over the last few years, as you've seen on my Twitter channel, and if you look at my YouTube channel, if you look at my Twitter account at Shamega Johnson, Shamega Johnson, Johnsson. If you look at that, and if you look at my other Twitter account, Fashion Fun Femme, which is Bella Soul Shamega Johnson, you'll know that someone has been stalking, harassing me, and making strange sounds in my apartment. I used to have a YouTube channel where I put up these little animated sort of psychological twist, like with the psychological twist and talking about science. I did something about how you can look at a situation and view it from someone else's viewpoint. I did something about body language, meditation videos. I got into crafting and fashion and shopping at Goodwill. And because of all this stuff that started going on in my life, out of nowhere, starting in about 2016, I took those videos down. I only have maybe 2 videos up now, mainly about body language. But I did a video where I talked about gaslighting. I talked about how you can assess a situation based on whether it's your gut, which would be sort of instinct, versus thinking about it from a logical perspective. So sort of brain versus, your instincts. Well, suddenly after this stuff happened to me, and I've been hit in the head with lasers, I hear all these staticky sounds that I recorded. My peephole, someone broke into the apartment and damaged my peephole. Someone broke into the apartment, started rearranging my stuff. It's been insane. And I haven't gotten much help. And I've been contacting everyone. And I wasn't helped. The last thing that happened was this weird screeching noise that would irritate me and make me nauseous. It also affected my mom, who lives with me. So it's not something that it's in my head. It's not something that isn't recordable or documentable. But it's something that, for some reason, I'm not getting any assistance. Instead of putting these recordings up on YouTube so other people will be affected, I don't know if they would be affected, I'm putting this video out there. I'm going to show you, I told people who viewed my videos in a previous video that I wasn't going to show my face because I'm disfigured and I look like this has happened. But I'm going to put a picture up as a thumbnail. And if you want to see more pictures of the scabs that form in my nose, I don't know how they're able to surveil me, but they yell, "You pick your nose." Let me tell you, the only way to get these scabs out of my nose that come out black and bloody is to pick it out. You cannot get a black bloody scab out of your nose. I have scabs on my skin, at my temples. They keep talking about, circles on my screen. All this stuff, it came into my life, and I'm too old for this to just randomly come into my life. So maybe it came into my life when I was about 42. I never had any of these issues. As they know, I graduated from high school, then I went to college, then I worked. I got a lot of commendation letters, thank you notes. I didn't have all these issues. And what I started to do in the process of this was go through my papers. And prior to that, when I went through my papers, I kind of but now I went through my papers and I'm saying, how did this happen to someone at 42 years old? I'm not the only one going through this. I only talk about myself because I don't feel like I have the right to talk about what my mom is experiencing because she's entitled to her privacy. So am I. But most of all, I feel like by me divulging what my mom is going through, I'm not giving her the opportunity to speak for herself. So I will not speak on my mother's behalf. But I will say that they've tried to pass this thing off as all sorts of things. A personality assessment. They said they're playing videos in my head or videos while sleeping. They said they're hitting me in the eyeballs so that I can see images. It's been so insane. But what I can tell you is I have proof that I'm being hit with something. I have proof that the sounds are in this apartment. I have proof that there are these whispery sounds in the background. I have proof that on every device I use, I'm being recorded with some staticky sound. In this apartment, there's no television on. I unplugged the refrigerator. There should be zero noise. The little bubbly sound you hear in the background should not exist. That isn't the toilet bowl. And I just wanted to say about my previous videos, because one of the videos I did was about how in England, someone saw a sock, but she thought it was something else. And it was about how your brain can play tricks on you, your mind can fool you. Because I have a degree in psychology, a Bachelor of Science, I know how to document things so that it can't be refuted. No one can say, oh, Shamega misunderstood. No, I keep documents. One of the other things that they did during this time is point out that a professor of mine used my name and sort of described me in a book that did not describe aspects of my life. Let me repeat that. I had a professor in college, and I graduated in 1995, so it tells you that's decades ago, who wrote a book that used a description of me physically. I'm Black, female, and I was then also, and used my first name, which is Shamega. It's a very unusual name. And in the book, the person is described as having been raped by a bunch of white boys, it says, by white boys. And then she has her dormitory broken into. And when these people started attacking me, they started talking about this. And I had no idea what they were talking about. So obviously they had reference to this book before I did and thought those things happened to me. It's a bunch of confusion. So clearly there's a problem with these people. Either they thought that character was my life experience, which creates a whole other issue for me. I would never want someone to write a book with my name and my likeness, who happened to be my professor, and attribute those type of experiences to me in my life. But that's besides the point. The point is that when these people started, all sorts of things started to pile on, and it's not true. I have plenty of people who can vouch for me as a human being and as a person who's been honest and a good person. These people have accused me, so they accused me of being raped by a group of white boys. That didn't happen. What they did do is, with hitting me with these lasers and hitting me with these things, they're doing something so I could feel like a vibration or pain in a certain area. There's just so much involved in this case that as I start to lay it out for you folks, it will make more sense. It didn't make sense to me initially, but over time, I'm able to slowly figure out how these people try to attack me. In 2016, someone wrote a letter about an Alzheimer's study about aches and pains, anti-inflammation, and brain games. It's dated December 2017 or 18. The postmark is 2018. The official postmark is 2019. And they sent it to me. And it was about residents in Co-op City from 40 to 65, and they wanted to track brain activity and anti-inflammation and this Alzheimer's study. So a combination of strange things started to happen in my life. And the date always revolves around 2016. And I'm confused by why that happened, who did all of this, and how did these people get this information. I had no idea I was in this book. And I had no clue that was written in reference to me until they let me know. I have no idea why I would be targeted for an Alzheimer's study. There would be no reason. Nobody ever said I had Alzheimer's, and I don't have anyone in my family that had Alzheimer's. So there would be no relation to Alzheimer's and me. I mean, that I just don't get it. They started intercepting my emails, my text messages. They interrupted my videos. They would ring the intercom downstairs, which would wake me up in the middle of the night. They twisted my doorknob. They would come outside my door and say things when I was walking down the street. When I am walking down the street, it still happens. People point cameras at me and they say it has little, a little laser or something in it. I have no idea how this thing started, but it's something that I will be discussing, and I'll have to break it down into little pieces. But just getting back to the previous video that I mentioned, I said how hate is contagious and you have to challenge your perspective of the world. And if you are a hate-filled person, it colors how you view people. It colors how you interpret things. That is why I've been slow in putting up videos about these situations, because I want to present the facts without coloring the facts from my perspective. So that is part of what I'm going to do with this new YouTube channel, which is challenge how I view what's happening to me and challenge how I document what's happening to me, so that I do not color it with a bad incident all the bad incidents that I've had recently, and I don't distort it, because I think that we need to put this information out there publicly. And I'm so referring we as in discussing my mother and me. We must put this out there publicly, but we must do it from the perspective that people will get the facts. They will get I don't know if you can hear that, but they can get the facts and they can get the information. And I will not be the person who, I feel personally that it's anti-black, anti-female, but I will not be the person who presents it that way. I will just present the pictures. I will just present the sounds. I will just present the words. And my challenge to people will be, if you have information about this, if you've been through something similar, please leave comments. I will ask people to challenge themselves to look at this situation without the bias of recent events and without the bias of past bad experiences. And that was part of why I did some of the video series. I don't have some of the videos because they deleted some of my videos because they wanted to re-edit or redo it. That's a whole other issue. But I probably do have backup of some of the videos. So I will, I think I'll re-edit, sort of redo those videos. But the point of this current video is to lay out what I have planned for future YouTube videos, to ask everyone to visit at Shamega Johnson on Twitter to see the pictures. And in the thumbnail, I am going to present the picture of how I currently look. If you look at my past pictures, you'll see I've been completely altered. So thank you. I'll upload more videos soon.